Welcome to Glasseye Media, and today we're talking about the Roxant Pro Video Camera Stabilizer and all of its wonderful uses with the help of a couple of other items. Let's get started. Just to be clear, I'm not being sponsored by anybody. I'm just putting my 2 cents in, giving you some advice on how you can make the most out of your equipment. So we're all aware of a stabilizer. We're aware of how they're used for cameras. They stabilize your footage as opposed to working just handheld. And this stabilizer, it's a sort of beginner level stabilizer. It does a decent job of that steadying for your camera. It only supports up to 2.1 pounds. Stabilizer is meant for smaller cameras, smaller DSLRs or smartphones, but I think it's perfect for you if you're a beginning filmmaker or you're an advanced filmmaker with smaller equipment. But there are ways that you can increase the weight capacity of the stabilizer if you're using a monitor or an extra mic on top of your camera. For example, you can maybe wrap a bag of change and tape it to the bottom of your stabilizer. It'll give you more weight to compensate for the overall weight of the system. This stabilizer runs on Amazon for about $65, which is a really decent price for a stabilizer. The setup is kind of tricky because you're having to make sure that everything is centered right, that you have your weight evenly distributed. First, you're going to screw the bottom half of the stabilizer to the upper half, then add the weights to the bottom screw. Then it instructs you to take the handle and find the center point of the upper part of the stabilizer before putting your camera on. Once you've done that, you're going to go ahead and put your camera on and find that balance. To test its balance, you're going to tilt the stabilizer on its side and see how fast it levels itself out. Ideally, you want it to be a slow move. If it is moving too fast, it means you have too much weight at the bottom or not enough weight at the bottom. So you can adjust with the different weights that it gives you, and then you're ready to go. So besides its standard use, I've gone and used it. I've flipped the whole thing upside down, tightened the handle to get a low angle tracking shot of something. I used this technique for a short film that I worked on about a year ago. So from here on out, anything else that you can do with the stabilizer requires the assistance of a quick release plate and a ball head. This Kingjoy Quick Release plate is designed to make it easier to attach your camera to a tripod or anything else you put it on. The KH6251 model runs for about $22 on Amazon. To add this to your stabilizer, you can attach the release plate to the bottom of the handle by replacing the standard 3/8 inch screw with the 1/4 inch screw that it comes with, and then attach the base plate to the foot for your tripod. And with a little bit of breaking down, you've just gone from stabilizer to tripod in less than 30 seconds. The Slik SBH 100 Ballhead is a must-have for filmmakers and photographers. One of the first things that I put to use for it was to give a tilt for my monopod. I had a cheap monopod, still have it. Didn't really allow my camera to move up or down, tilt anyway, so I use a ball head to allow my camera to turn sideways. This ball head runs for about $18 on Amazon. With just one notch, you can loosen the spin rotation and the ball head itself, so you can screw it onto the bottom of your camera. This is also meant for smaller cameras. All these things I'm mentioning are geared towards people with smaller equipment. So don't go buying this stuff if you're towing around a Canon C100. This ball head allows you to use more lenses on top of the stabilizer. I was using my Roxant 85mm cinema lens. It's a different setup because it has notches on the wheels for more steady, more precise turning. The design of the lens was conflicting with the design of the stabilizer, so I really can't balance it correctly. With the help of that ball head, I was able to push it where I needed to without it being in the way at all. Now while you're in handheld, on the go mode, not a whole lot of time switching around, you can tighten the handle up to your chest to use it as like a shoulder mount, which is going to give you a few more steady shots while you're standing still. Gives you a little more control over the camera while you have that free hand. You can also use it like a hi-hat. All you have to do is level the quick release plate of the handle to the ground, loosen the bottom half of the stabilizer, set it off to the side kind of like a kickstand. Instant hi-hat. Bonus tip is if you loosen the handle, you can rotate the whole stabilizer and it will use the weights as a sort of wheel to track. You can get some interesting tilting shots at a certain angle. I think it's pretty cool. I don't know, maybe it's just me. And when you want to switch to the tripod, you can break down the stabilizer a little bit. You can take the handle off the bottom of the stabilizer, take the ball head off, take that little piece on top of the handle off, and you can connect that to the ball head. Put that right on the tripod. You can also use the handle as a method of working around with your camera, holding upside down to get a little more steady shots. If you're trying to have a little less weight on your hands, I think it serves the best as far as switching from tripod to handheld without messing around, have your hands on the camera. So not only did you switch easily, but you also gave a little more height to your camera once it's on the tripod. This part isn't the most perfect piece of the puzzle, given that the camera itself is top heavy, so there's going to be a little bit of wobble going on, and that also becomes a problem when the screw to the release plate gets loose. So you kind of have to be a little more conscientious of it, constantly making sure that thing is tight and secure. But I think it works perfect if you're just getting a still shot or a still image. It also works if you're just being lazy. It's okay to admit you're being lazy. I'm not going to judge you. A bonus tip, if you have a Manfrotto or similar tripod that has a separate center pod piece, you can loosen the screw that controls the tightness of that. Push that little silver pin in, slide that out. You can then fish it back underneath and attach your camera so you can get a low angle shot with your tripod. I also use this technique for that short film. So with all of these things added up, you're looking at about $105 for 3 different items, and with the various uses you can get out of these, you are utilizing a stabilizer, a shoulder mount, a hi-hat, and a little bit extra tilt and lift for your tripod. I think you're saving a lot of money in investing in these items. And that's all I have for you today. Links to everything that I've used and I've discussed are below. You can catch me on social media, and I'll catch you next time. Deuces!